so now, so now you're 20 plus years in the industry. What's next for you?
Well, what's next for me? I've gotten that question quite a few times in the last couple of years because, I graduated in 2017 and it was supposed to be the end of that year where I was going to move on and stuff. But again, like I told you, some of my experiences kind of caused me to need a little bit more time to kind of assess whether I made the right choices or not.
Yeah.
But now that I've had some time and more experiences and I've had the chance to really just enjoy my life a little bit, I kind of just want to travel to different places in this next coming year. The beautiful part is that I don't have any pressure anymore. You know what I mean? Like I already did the work. Like I said, I'm a license away from a whole different life. That's a lot of pressure for somebody like me that has had that same career for 20 plus years, you know what I mean? And because they're so different. Right now I don't have a boss, I don't have a schedule. I have freedom, to go from that into a career that is extremely demanding because I'm going to be responsible for the well-being of how, a lot of, being a social worker, like, whoa, you're responsible for a lot of very scary things, you know what I mean? So you've got to have your head in the game and you've got to understand that it's not just a 9 to 5 sort of job, it carries over. And not only does it carry over with, work, but it's also very mentally draining and it carries over mentally. So I need to prepare myself for a retirement into that type of career. So I feel that in order to be okay with that type of life for the next 20 years, that I should travel and I should see the world a little bit since I had never done that before. So for me right now, what's next is just that. I'm kind of going one trip at a time.
So obviously you look great.
Thank you.
Do you feel that you can do, another 10 years easily?
I
10,
think I
15
could,
years?
but I wouldn't want to. You have to be, that job is not challenging for me anymore. I can do it with my eyes closed. It doesn't really bring me any type of mental satisfaction. It's fun, but there's no, it's just kind of, it's become a little mundane. And I am the kind of person, I like to learn different things every day. And that I just don't see it challenging me for another 10 years. I think it would probably bore me even more than it's boring me now.
Okay.
So
So if you could put a stamp time frame on it, what are we looking at?
well, to me, what would be
5?
fantastic, no, what would be great would be for me to go to Australia in the summer and then come back and then study for my licensing, God willing, pass the first time, and hopefully have a new career by 2021.
Very
So,
cool. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So I got to ask the question. So you're single now.
Yes.
Okay. So any guys looking to date you, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't. Just kidding. I'm not a robot. I need love too. Just kidding. What kind of advice would I give them?
Or let me ask it a different way.
Uh-huh.
How would somebody looking to
date me?
pursue you? How should they come across? Obviously, not be a client.
No.
Okay.
That kind of ruins everything.
The cop messed that up.
Yeah, because I'm older, I'm still very traditional. So I do like to be courted. You know what I mean? So it would be nice to have a man that would ask me out on a date, like a real date, not expecting sex or anything, just getting to know somebody, and just get to know somebody for like a while, and date, and that's it. Like, be normal, like what happened to normalcy like that? Like, that's it. Let things flow, and But also, I think it's very important that if a man wants to date me, that he needs to realize, and I think a lot of them fail to realize that I always say this, I always say, look, you say you're okay with my job. Because that's the question I ask a lot of guys that try to date me is, why are you okay dating a stripper? And I always get the same answer, you're different. What makes me different? My education? What makes me different? Because I'm like a chill person, because I'm not, this stereotypical stripper, right? And like, what makes me different? And it usually does go into my education. I think men look at my education and they think there's a future with me. And it's comforting compared to what I do for a living, right? So it gives them a little hope, I think, is what happens. But then I always say, okay, like you have to understand that you're not gonna hide me. So that means that I'm not gonna stand next to you and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is my girlfriend. She's a social worker. No, I'm not. I have a degree in social work, but I'm not a social worker yet. I'm a stripper. So you need to be aware that when people ask questions about who you're with, mom and dad included, boys included, you're going to have to divulge what your girlfriend does. And instantly, all of those people are going to judge me. And that's when you need to decide whether you're going to take the time to explain, let them have their opinion, focus on me, and know that you have no idea the gem that you just found. But you're probably going to throw it away like I'm a piece of coal because you don't have the balls to defend me in front of everybody, because they never do. And I'm not the girl that forgives and forgets. And, I always tell guys that I date, look, I already went through all that. So I'm not going to get cheated on. I'm not going to be verbally, emotionally, physically abused. One time is all it takes. And you're gone. And I don't care, 2 weeks later, come at my door crying, bring me flowers, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I break up with you once, it's done type of thing. And a lot of them act like they like hear me, but it never fails. It's the same song and dance. I break up with them and then they're shocked. Like, I just told you I don't give second chances, right? So that's unfortunately what it's like to date me. So most guys think of the effort and they're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. And then they were all hoping, well, maybe it's just like, maybe I just fuck her. And then they realize that, maybe in my 20s or something, like, I don't know. But now I'm at the point where at 40, almost 42 years old, that's not what I'm looking for. Like, I'm actually looking to be in a relationship. I'm looking to get married. I've never been married. I'm looking for somebody that would like to travel the world with me and do things like that and live a nice, peaceful, loving, healthy life. That's what I want to retire into, But I'm the one with the problem.
All right. So any preference? Any preference on guys?
I'm called shallow a lot because I tend to date physically built men. I don't think it's shallow. I mean,
that's your preference. That's your preference.
I'm always at the gym, so like
That's what you're attracted to,
right? Like if you're gonna date me, like you're gonna get, you're gonna get a nice little six pack here. You're gonna get, like, come on now, like you're gonna have to keep up. I'm gonna want to do physical things. I'm gonna want to work out, like, so that's
so definitely be into fitness and be fit.
Against my better judgment, I was told to date outside the box. So I one day I was like, okay, fine, I'll give this guy a chance, right? He was not very attractive physically. I'm a very visual person, But I was like, don't be that way. Maybe your friends are right. Again, big mistakes when I listen to other people, right? You got to be confident in yourself and know what you're doing is right. So I'm listening to my stupid friends tell me that I'm shallow and that I need to think outside the box. So I go out with this guy who's a little overweight, not very attractive. We got on a first date and I had fun. He was funny. It was cool. It was great, right? So we started dating a little bit more and I was like, maybe I'm onto something, maybe it's not so bad or whatever, right? But then I just couldn't.
Speak on it.
Like, the sex wasn't great, and like, not to be mean, but sometimes when you're overweight, you don't have stamina, and and like I ended up doing all the work, and it was just not a good experience, right? And so it just kind of was weird. And then he ended up being an asshole anyway, so it didn't even matter. So never again. I need somebody that's fit.
How often are you offered sex at work?
Every day.
Okay. Do most guys try to get touchy during private dances?
Yes.
Okay. Is it allowed?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it is. Okay. Best gift given or offered to you?
At work?
I guess at work or outside work.
Best
Or
gift.
let's say by a client.
Best gift.
Because I'm sure they come
Um,
offering gifts.
I had a customer, sweetheart. I was complaining about how my computer crashed, and he showed up the next few days with like a laptop, a really nice laptop for me. So that was very sweet. But I've also had.
Did you accept it?
At first, I did not, but then he made it more comfortable for me to accept it. Because at first, I'm like, "What do you want?" But there was no
Gotcha.
strings attached, so I was like, "Okay." And I've been offered trips. I've been offered. I've had customers who actually paid for when I was going to college, paid for my course load. I've had customers. They funded my fitness competitions. So I've had lots of really nice gifts, very thoughtful
Nice.
gifts.
All right. Favorite song to dance to?
So I'm obsessed with the song from The Silence of the Lambs, where he tucks his goods in and he's like, "Goodbye, horse."
I know the song.
Yeah, so I have to dance it at least, once a night. So
So the DJ has to spin that. Okay.
it's like my theme song.
Okay. So do you do it for like a lucky customer, or is it just whenever it comes on?
No, I request it when I
Okay.
go on stage, and I love it when guys go up and then they'll do the dance because they get it. Like most people don't fucking get it, right? But when a person gets it, I'm like,
I love you. Right?
yeah.
All right. If a guy's gonna take you out, what would be the best place to eat and for the date?
I love to eat, so I'll go anywhere. I really have no preference. I love restaurants that have patio seating
Okay.
because I love to enjoy the evening as we eat or whatever. But I've never had a man. Like I tell my girlfriends that I would get mad to see as a dude. Because when I take my girlfriends out, I'm like, "Hey, dude, let's go do this." We have such a blast, and it was my idea.
Yeah.
But normally, like, guys have never, like a really nice lunch, like outside, like, take me to like, I don't want to say picnic because it can come across kind of corny, but something like that, or
Something
like,
a little more thoughtful.
yeah,
and
or no guy
creative.
has ever said, "Hey, do you want to go hiking? Do you, take me out to the wilderness?" Like, that's my foreplay. You take me out to the wilderness, I see beautiful mountains and trees, you're probably gonna get lucky. You know what I
There
mean?
you go. I'm giving everybody like the game plan
I know,
to
right?
snag you.
Yeah, right. Like, she's too much work.
Okay. Worst kind of customer or client?
The worst kind of customer is the one that goes in there with the savior complex. I don't need you to save
That
me.
wants to take you away from all
Yeah,
this.
like
Got it,
what
got it.
exactly are you taking me away from? Like, I'm okay, dude.
You're
I'll
trying to
live.
happy.
Right.
Okay. How often do guys get boners when you dance on them?
All the time.
So, so does a dance stop when you
No.
feel it, or
No.
Okay, got it. So it's acceptable.
That's expected. I'm
expected.
topless on you, giving you a dance. Like, oh, hello.
Have you had an orgasm
Yes.
while dancing? That was quick. Okay.
You have to remember, okay, again,
like, yeah.
I'm a single woman and I don't just go and bone everybody. So, I mean, sometimes, like vibrators are great and stuff, but sometimes I just go with the moment.
Got it. Does having a boob job help make more money?
Yes. Guys want to pretend that it doesn't, but they're liars.
Okay. Last question. How much do you make in a year roughly, and is it taxed?
It's changed drastically. The most I've ever made was in 2008 or 9. I hit 6 figures that year, and it's always taxed because I have to file my taxes. So of course, I could be all shady, and we don't need the IRS coming and knocking on our door, right? So I file my taxes.
So how does that work? Like, I mean, can you say, hey, I only made this much when essentially you made more? Like, how would they know?
No, you have to be honest on your taxes.
You should, but that doesn't always happen. So, I mean, how is that tracked? Does the club have to? I mean,
No,
well,
the
'cause
club has
you're paid
nothing.
directly,
The
right?
club has nothing to do with it. Basically, for me, what I do, and I've done this pretty much from the start of my career, is I'm my own bookkeeper. So I keep books. So I buy planners and then I write down what I make each night. I calculate my month. I calculate my year. So I know exactly what I made the entire year. And then when I file my taxes, that's when I file my taxes.
I got you.